homebuyers and veterans and people living with disabilities and families experiencing homelessness, you name it, we need more housing. So tax policies can be a way to address housing shortages. The low-income housing tax credit is not perfect, but it helps drive the development of affordable rental homes. But some of our tax policies may actually make the problem worse. Wall Street money managers have fanned out across the country, buying and converting what little supply of affordable homes remain, and they get tax breaks to do that. Ms. Scott, you are an expert on community development, so let me start by asking you about the impact of more Wall Street investors moving into the housing market. Big corporate landlords, often acting through investment vehicles known as real estate investment trusts or REITs, have bought up hundreds of thousands of homes across our country over the past decade. Now, some of these folks argue that REITs and other investors encourage investment in supply and neighborhood quality. Is that what you've seen?
Thank you, Senator, for this focus and your question. We're not opposed to
Make sure your mic's on.
Okay. We're not opposed to REITs per se, but we are very concerned about the institutional investors in housing market and in our communities. We listed a research paper focusing in on New York City that you may have seen, that in certain instances when these investors acquire properties, they refinance them. So they're extracting money from the real estate and taking it out of the community rather than reinvesting it in the housing that they purchase. Oftentimes we find that the housing that has been purchased, the rents are increased, and there is the existing tenants may even lose their housing, they may be evicted. We see that maintenance, the quality of maintenance goes down, and overall there aren't the capital improvements. So, and on the single-family side, we see something similar happening where these investors are snapping up homes to rent at much higher rates than the market has generally supported. And so you see less opportunity for first-time home buyers. This is the stock, right? And so the community is being denied wealth. Wealth is coming out of the community, the housing is dilapidated, and oftentimes the institutional investors are not easily identified, and so it's not clear who the players are, where the money is coming from, and it's changing the face of many of our communities.
So that's a pretty grim picture about what's going on. And it's particularly alarming because in 2021, investors bought up 1/4 of all single-family homes that were on the market. And no surprise, the places where the biggest of these investors went, those that own thousands of properties, have been the places where home prices have increased the most. Now, these same biggest investors are collecting record profits while they are subsidized by government financing and tax breaks. So I just want to take a quick look at these tax breaks. Mr. Watson, we're going to be limited on time, so let's see if we can do these as true falses. You are an expert on federal tax policy at the Tax Foundation. Let's just talk about a few of the tax breaks that Wall Street investors have exploited to hoover up homes, make the supply crisis worse, and drive up costs for families. True or false? Many REITs are billion-dollar companies, including some of the biggest corporate landlords in the United States, Invitation Homes, American Homes for Rent, and Mid-America Apartments. But they generally do not pay corporate income tax if they meet certain conditions. Is that right? True or false?
If they deduct from their income, they would not.
True. Okay. So let's do another. The 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act allows investors to deduct 20% of their pass-through business income, such as dividends they might receive from REITs. True or false?
True.
True. All right, let's keep going here. I like the way you're doing this. The CARES Act allowed all business losses to be carried back for 5 years. True or false?
That's true.
That's true. And that change resulted in billions of dollars in tax benefits that went largely to the wealthiest in the country, including Wall Street real estate investors. So let's do one more. Real estate investors can avoid paying taxes on profits from the sale of property if those profits are used to buy another property, a process known as like-kind exchanges.
That's true.
True or false? Okay. This loophole is expected to provide investors with a $134 billion tax break over the next 10 years. You know, I just want to say here, our tax policies reward giant real estate investors who raise fees, jack up rents, and evict families. Americans are already suffering from a severe lack of affordable homes, and any taxpayer money spent on housing should go toward fixing the problem, not making it worse. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Warren, we'll have, because of her collegiality, we will have Senator Brown, then we'll have Senator Cortez Masto, and then we're going to wrap up because I have to deal with William Peter Wyden, age 15, in a couple of minutes. Okay, Senator Brown.
He must be a relative. Is he a relative? Maybe?
Yeah, son.
I knew that. And Senator Cortez Masto, thank you for your graciousness. Dr. Calabria, good to see you again.